The bard doth speaketh, and the crowd shall listen. Hello everyone. Welcome to the first episode of my Baerdcyn podcast talk thing. I'm just going to sit here and rant for a bit. This is how the series is going to go. I'm going to sit here in front of the camera and talk to the microphone. There's no reason for the video to be rolling, but it's there. Structure of the video is real quick before I give information so that you can know what's going to happen before it's too late. These are going to be, as I said, podcast style. So if you want to do other stuff and just listen, you don't have to keep the video open. I'm not going to be showing anything besides this disgusting face. Yeah, I think that's all you really need to know. In terms of how the talk is going to be continuing in the future, I'll be doing various themes stuff. It'll be varying, but it'll all be generally like fantasy and music themed. Now I might do some video game kind of stuff here and there, but in general it'll be that. And then I'll also be doing videos kind of just like sitting and making music and then editing it so it's not 5 hours long or whatever, and kind of talking you through what I'm doing, how I'm going about it, stuff like that. So anyway, a little bit about me. My name's Glenn Bouquet. I'm 19. I play a plethora of instruments, if you've noticed, but I haven't really mastered any of them. The only one I can say is I can hold my own in is saxophone. That was my introduction to music, was saxophone. I learned saxophone in 5th grade and haven't looked back, still play it all the time. Talk about the kind of the history of the idea of Baerdcyn, how it came about, stuff like that. And I'm going to give my thoughts on the EP, my favorite song off the EP, thoughts on the LP, favorite song off the LP. We'll talk a little bit about Fantasy February, the future of that, and I'll probably say like, thank you guys for showing up, woo! And that'll be it for this episode. Prepare for a lot of tangents. Some of the tangents will probably be themed towards what I'm talking about at that time, but I'll probably like go on a tangent like, anyway, and go back topic. Anyway, yeah, so Baerdcyn, the kind of idea how it started. To understand it, we have to understand my history with playing music. Now, I've played sax since 5th grade, but really didn't ever pick any like stringed instrument, like legitimately, like I'm gonna learn this, until freshman year of high school. I got a banjo for Christmas because I wanted to play 5-string bluegrass banjo. And from there, I realized I was in over my head. I couldn't process it. I was fine on the fretboard. My left hand was fine, but I could not figure out picking technique or anything. Yeah, I still kind of can't. That's why I don't play bluegrass banjo much anymore. If I play banjo, I'm doing ragtime or like old time kind of stuff, late 1800s American folk or Scottish traditionals, Irish traditional, stuff like that. Anyway, so from there, around that time, I started being like, well, I want to play the lute. And I remember, I always knew what a lute was, but it never really settled in until like, late 8th grade, freshman year. I was like, that's what I want to do. So I think it was junior year of high school. For Christmas, I got a lute. And I had no intent of ended up getting to this point, playing like fantasy music on a lute. I thought it'd be cool. I kind of wanted to play some fantasy songs, but my goal was to do like standard Renaissance repertoire, maybe do some Baroque pieces, even though my lute can't handle it. And yeah, so from there, it brings us to current. A few months ago, actually, probably like late October. And to understand this, you need to understand my relationship with Dark Souls. I've always wanted to play the Dark Souls games. The aesthetics have always been very pleasing to me. But the gameplay was one thing that did not. I knew I would not be patient enough for it. But my friends really enjoy the Dark Souls games, so they talked me into it recently. I picked it up and played it, and right off the bat, the music from the menu theme, first of all, blew my mind, and then Firelink Shrine really blew my mind. I was like, whoa, this is like dungeon synth, but like an orchestra. So now we need to backtrack a little. We'll be getting to back Dark Souls. At the same time, I was just like having thoughts. Like, yeah, at least to my knowledge, no one has ever really done a full acoustic like representation of dungeon synth. I've seen quite a few, not many, but a few bands put acoustic instruments in their dungeon synth. But I've never seen many just replace the synth with, I was like, yeah, what about if someone like took a synth harp but did a real harp, or a synth flute but did a real flute? So back to Dark Souls. I was playing. Oh, my nose is really itchy today. I was playing the game. I got the Firelink Shrine. I heard the song. I was like, man, I want to do a cover of this. This was for at the time. At the time, this was for my main Instagram account. I hadn't made Baerdcyn yet. It wasn't even a thought. And I found a classical acoustic arrangement for it, and then transcribed it for lute, which is pretty much the same thing. It's in a different key, but it plays practically the same. So I did that, and then I put some heavy reverb on the lute to give it that cave-like sound. So I started playing. I remember I was playing, and I went to, I don't know, do something. And, no, it was while I was recording. I was playing the lute, and I went to go wet my lips, and my mind was blown. I was like, whoa, that's some, like, cave water dripping off the ceiling kind of sound. So from there, I just kind of, the aesthetic came through. I was like, that's cool. It's like, maybe I should do, like, an album with this or something. So I started writing songs. I made like the first two. I was like, I'm doing it. So I made a short EP that became the Cave of Time EP. And thoughts on the EP. No, yeah, EP. I do like it. Looking back on it, I do feel it gets very stale, very quick. But my defense for this, I know there's such good excuses in life, but this is totally an excuse. I didn't have enough instruments to truly make meaningful arranged pieces that didn't sound different. I mean, that did sound different. I had at the time a classical guitar, a mandolin, the lute, and then I had a recorder I did on some tracks. That's it. And as much as I want to be like, yeah, that's enough, with lute, there's only really a few keys you can do easy and good. You can do like D minor major, G minor major, and C major. I guess C minor, maybe. That's it. You can do other keys, but it's not like you can capo a lute, It's got 8 strings. Look, acts like it has 8 strings. It really has 15. So from there, that's my thoughts on general the album. As for my favorite song of the album, Cave of Time definitely is. Not Cave of Time. I did it again. Cave of Life is my favorite song. If any of you watching have listened to the EP and then noticed the song on the LP, Cave of Time Extended, I only noticed that like 2 days ago. That's the wrong name. That's supposed to be Cave of Life Extended. I don't know how I did that. It's too late now. It's irreversible. Ingrained in the sands of time. But that's that. Anywho, that's my favorite song off the album, the EP. But as for my favorite part, it's definitely like the last minute-ish of Cave of Death. I like how Cave of Death has at least the most melancholic feel out of all the songs, but it resolves in this kind of very peaceful, like, the struggle is over kind of feel. After this, like, whimsical, flutter of flute chords. So that's the thought. My thoughts on the EP, my favorite song. Now we get to the LP. The LP, I am very proud of. A lot of my friends will know I'm not usually proud of the stuff I make. There's like 5 drawings I might be, proud of. Maybe like probably less than that songs I'm proud of. But that's, I'm very proud of the album. I'm also kind of ashamed to admit I do listen to the album a lot less than I probably should actually, but I do find myself listening to the album. I just really enjoy it. I like how it sounds. The sound quality still baffles me that I made my garbage mic sound that good. As for like the events of the album, obviously there are filler tracks. The interlude is actually the only filler track that is not really a filler track for me. That has to do with the events of the timeline of how the album was recorded. The first song to be recorded was Market at Midnight. Market at Midnight I recorded it a few weeks after, it was like a week after the EP dropped. And I just made it as a piece, just to keep things active. And then a few weeks passed after that, like a week, maybe a week and a half. And, it would have been right after Christmas. For Christmas this year, I got a lyre harp and a new set of tin whistles. So, the lyre harp brought in some new instrumentation qualities. Plus the tin whistles, I had a D tin whistle and a C tin whistle, which means I can get a little variable in the keys now. So with the tin whistles and the lyre harp, I was able to, as I said, the instrumentation is now wider, so I can encompass more stuff. It lets it so, in my mind, ideas aren't so quick to be stale because I have more tools in the arsenal. So after Christmas, I forget if this was, it was after that. Anywho, I wanted to do a lyre just recording to put on Baerdcyn after I did the Morrowind theme cover, because this is a running gag in my family, inside joke. I've learned the Morrowind theme on everything. The first song I learned by ear on the sax was the Morrowind theme. So I got the lyre harp, so I recorded Christmas morning. I opened everything, hung out with the family, and went upstairs, went in my room, recorded the Morrowind theme, put it on Instagram. After that, I was like, I want to do a piece. I want to get artsy dungeon synth. I was gonna go out in the woods behind my great-grandmother's house, and I was just gonna set up my camera, improvise a little on the lyre, and make it black and white so it's dungeon synth artsy, and post it. And after that, I was like, I really like how it came out. I was like, maybe I should start working on the next release. So I knew that was going to be in the release, and I knew Market at Midnight was going to be in it. So from there, the interlude I made originally started as an introduction piece instead of an interlude. At that point in time, I didn't have an album name or an album concept or anything yet. I just knew album was a thing. So then the album title came about. The album title is still even kind of a mystery to me. I just kind of thought of it as, I was trying to think of something like dungeon synthy, but a little bit philosophical, I guess, in a not real anything kind of way. the somber bit, the reason it like that came to mind in the Dungeon Synth world, at least as far as I've got, I'm a very new member to Dungeon Synth. I really like learned it existed like a year ago, maybe not even. My mind was blown that it did. As far as I've gathered from my newborn experience, Dungeon Synth, at least in terms of what is considered good Dungeon Synth, it's kind of a mix between oppressive and depressive. It's a very like heavy, dreadful kind of feeling. My music, I feel, it's not that terrifying kind of feel, but definitely has a slight somberness. How I look at it, it's a contemplative, depressive kind of feel. In terms of like an event that you could think about it, it's like it's contemplating why we exist, but not being mad or upset or angered or any negative emotion by what you have conjured at the end of your contemplation session. You know, it's just kind of almost like a realism kind of feel in the somberness. Now this piece, Market at Midnight, is not that. This is the comfiest I've gotten in terms of the comfy synth. Where's my hands? What's going on here? I don't know. The comfy synth to dungeon synth dynamic. It definitely is more towards the comfy side, but that's what I wanted. Marked at Midnight started out as a piece. It was going to be a cover of the Fairy Fountain theme and the menu theme from Zelda. And then I realized Bandcamp has a strict no cover policy, so that went out the window. So just kind of made a piece that sounded like it, inspired by it. Anywho. So that's looking at the depressive part, that's where Somber came out. So the original album title was the whole "We are but somber beings in a world of our subconscious creations." But I was like, that's too long. I like long album titles, but that's too long for me, for something I want to put out. So I was trying to figure out how I can use that whole thing. And I was like, use the first 3 songs as the completion of the phrase. As the album goes, we are but somber beings in a world of our subconscious creations. So I originally made the first 2 songs, and I was trying to think of something for the third. I was like, a poem. I thought a nice, like, spoken word poem piece would be cool. Have the last lines of the poem be we are but somber beings in a world of subconscious creations. And from there, make a poem, at least maybe not describing the title, because I don't think it did, but at least giving it some context, or at least a little bit of substance. I guess that's probably all my thoughts on the LP. The Loot improv piece was filler. The Cave of Lifetime debacle piece was filler. But in defense of that being filler, it was on the EP originally supposed to be like 6 minutes long. I was gonna just, as I did here instead, I was just gonna have that, loop in the background and jam over it, improv on a few different instruments. As you've noticed, also, I wanted to mention this, because I found this interesting. My friends all understand this, the people who are close. You viewers who have found me on Instagram, Bandcamp, and Facebook probably won't, but hopefully I can context it enough. For saxophone, I love improvisation. Improv is my favorite thing to do on any instrument, actually. But approaching improv to the lyre and the lute was a lot different for me. I didn't realize it even until I kind of listened back on the tracks, where, in sax, playing, soloing to people on the rhythm section, and drums and everything. I'm a lot more structured. It's traditional, like, licks, phrases, so on and so forth. When I improved on the lyre, and then the loot. It's a lot more freeform in the, your traditional, like, four measures of four measured, like, groupings and everything. Don't exist. I just kind of jam out. There's no really phrases or licks or anything. There might be recurring themes I do employ on the fly, but it's definitely not nearly as structured. I think on the lyre piece I even changed the meter a few times. I don't remember actually, but I thought that was interesting. As for other thoughts, I don't know. Do I have any on the LP? I don't think I do. But yeah, it's Fantasy February time. Fantasy February has been very fun so far, despite the obvious quality drop-off after like the first week. And to be honest, it's because my friends know this. I have a problem with dedication. I just fizzle out of everything. I'm surprised Baerdcyn has been alive as long as it has been. Excuse me. With that being said, to stop that, I approached after like the first 3 or 4, I think 4. Yeah, the first 4 pictures and songs. I approached it like work. I was like, I have to get it done every day. I didn't make it like a literal deadline, but I was like, I want to get it done by 1 o'clock around at the latest, 2 pushing it. I've been pretty successful with doing that. There's been a few days where I haven't. Daytona, I couldn't do a day for that. That was too important. But, yeah, in terms of how it's been going with that, I have noticed the quality drop-off. Every so often I will have a piece of music that I think is, up there in quality, but the pictures definitely aren't. They're good, at least I feel, but they definitely aren't the quality I could be doing. But in terms of releases, the pictures don't matter as much. So the plans for the Fantasy February release, I'm going to be putting out all the tracks on Bandcamp. They're going to be individual releases with, not individual releases, what am I talking about? They're going to be released on Bandcamp, not extended or anything, it's just them, the 1-minute-ish songs. And then I'm going to take my favorite, like, 8 to 10 songs, extend them a little bit, just like 2 to 3 minutes per song. Not extend them that much, I mean, like, they will be 2 to 3 minutes in length per song. And then release them on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music, iTunes, whatever, Amazon. But with that, I don't know how I'm going to do it on Bandcamp. If I'm going to put the extended tracks on the Bandcamp release with the individual songs, or if it's going to be a separate release. Regardless, the extended, all the songs will be only on Bandcamp. When you download that, it's going to be free. When you download that, you'll also get a zip file with all the scans of the pictures. And from there, I think I might sell prints, US only, because I don't know how international shipping works in the US. I'll be selling prints. I don't know a price yet, but let's just say hypothetical numbers for now to understand how it works. Let's say a print is $5. It's $5 for an 8.5 by 11, and then it's still $5 per sheet. So you can get, like, if you don't want a full 8.5 by 11, but you want 2 of, I forget the size, but the sizes that are, it's 2 pictures on an 8.5 by 11. That will be $5 plus also. And then for additional pictures, there'll be a discount. I haven't figured that out. And the $5 is a hypothetical number. I'm trying to just figure that out still. That should cover everything for our lovely first episode. I'm enjoying Baerdcyn a lot so far. It's both humbling and extremely ego boosting to know that this many of you care. I remember when I first started, thinking about doing the EP, I made a post to the Dungeon Synth Cult Facebook group. I made a post there being like, hey, this is an idea I had. I don't know if it's really Dungeon Synth, nor if it's allowed here or anything, but if any of you like it, let me know. And even though really, looking back on it, it wasn't that much. But like 8 people commented and said like, this is awesome. Like, I want to hear more. Keep us updated. And that, I think, is what really got me to make the album. You got to realize that I'm doing a niche thing in a niche genre already. And with 4 months-ish of Baerdcyn experience under my belt, I've already gotten 200 followers on Instagram. And I want to thank every single one of you. It's mind-blowing. I can't process, I still can't, I never will process the fact that not only 200 of you care about the music, but any of you care about the music. It means a lot, it really does. That should be it, I think. Hope that I didn't miss anything. If I did, it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, it should be. Anyway, have a great day, night for me, evening for others, middle of the night, middle of the day, whenever time. Please enjoy it. Have a great day. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hopefully next episode will happen soon. Yeah. Goodbye.